So first, we're going to bring on Mayor Stevenson, and we do have some PowerPoints for you. We do have some slides. So we're going to put on Gary's slides. You can either stand at the mic if you like. Okay.
Okay.
Am I in the way?
Nah, you're fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Once again, as mayor for 8 years, councilman. Just a disclaimer, I want to thank Kurt, I always call you Mark.
You can call me Margaret.
For doing my PowerPoint. I had 3 hurricanes I had to deal with, and I had a rental property in Florida on the coast that got hit. I bought a property up in Aiken, South Carolina line, and I had to rush up there because my house got hit by a hurricane. Then I had to rush home to my real house in Florida that got hit by a hurricane. So, you know how you watch the Weather Channel, they got all the spaghetti models where the hurricane's going to go. Just know where I'm at, and that's exactly where the hurricane's going to hit. So, I want to thank you for doing this PowerPoint for me. I'm up here because I have, unfortunately, a great experience. November the 30th, 2012. I'm sure probably Mike's showing in a slide a little bit later. My house is literally 25 feet from that. My house got rolled up by the trains that morning. 7 a.m. in the morning, I just got home from working, and I worked in the fossil fuels business for ExxonMobil at the time. My wife screamed, yelled, she said the train went off the tracks. I'm expecting an engine, just off. And here you saw that disaster. That's the same chemical that went in, is it East Palestine in Ohio. In our cases, it didn't catch fire. The rail people said you do that 100 times, 99 times it's going to catch fire. The chemicals all just spewed out. That morning, I got out of my house and instantly I couldn't see the hand in front of my face. Originally I won't get into who told us, but we were told it was fog, and here it was, the chemicals. So I had to deal with it on multiple levels as a public servant, head of public safety for the town, a fire chief, and a homeowner. That had to deal with all these issues, residents. I wear a 4th hat, which is a funeral director. Grace of God, I didn't have to be a funeral director that day, but I'll jump in a little bit later, but I wonder how much people I've had to handle from inhaling these that passed away in the next years or 2, and 2 of my members got the cancer and died that were on the scene that day. So, I'll jump into that safety issue a little bit, but I'm going to talk about this accident and the ramifications and what's happened since, like the East Palestine one and ours. So, a bunch of cars went over, the chemicals spewed out, the whole town was covered, you couldn't see the hand in front of your face. And then it became the blame game between Conrail and basically, just to refresh everyone's memory, I won't get into the long story. It's a swing bridge there. The swing bridge opens and closes, the train comes across, there's a red and green light, come across, red stop, just like a regular stop street. For well over a year, because I see it because I live right there, the bridge was not operating correctly. They had to keep coming out, sending workers, blah, blah, blah. Eventually it became, and they found out most of the time it was not an issue, it was just a computer issue. That precipitated the boy to cry wolf syndrome. Eventually the train showed up that morning, saw the red light said don't come across, I have an issue. Ah, the heck with it, there's nothing wrong with it. They came across, the bridge was not locked, the bridge opened, the trains went into the water, and broke loose. A small town fire company can't deal with something like this, and I'll get into a little bit about what's changed since. So chemical goes all through town, kids are walking to the school, nobody really knows what to do. The railroad guy from Conrail on the train goes running, we don't have a manifest, we can't see what the chemicals are. Hence, a big issue, a big safety issue, evacuating the town. And the first lady over here made a good point. Paulsboro is a small minority town. We are one of the poorest towns in the state. We don't have the resources, the money to put anything in place in case it is. So this went on for weeks and weeks, and in my case, I had cracks this thick in my basement walls, which was a newly built house. Thank God I put rebar in it because of the vibration from the trains. But so then this all went through, it got cleared up, they got the trains. Now we have to go to the NTSB hearing in front of Congress and such in Washington, D.C., where they were more worried about our response as a fire department than what exactly, who's to blame and why are they to blame, and yet they focus on a small volunteer fire company. So this went on, corrections are put in place, NTSB issues their report, and to this day, I have yet to hear from the chemical company, because the chemical company says that's Conrail's problem. We just put it in their thing, we put it in their train cars and container cars, so that's all we have to do. Conrail says they're responsible, they should be training us firefighters on what's in there. So the blame game all starts, and here it goes into the safety issue that you're talking about. So multiple firefighters, policemen, all inhale this because, we're doing our jobs to get people evacuated and put yourself on the line. It's that simple. To this day, 12 years next month, I have yet to hear from the chemical company about the health. Now, in my particular case, because I live there, and Dr. Bob, I don't remember the numbers, but people in town had a point something in their bloodstream or whatever. I had like way up here. And, and I was told, oh, just watch your liver enzymes. Well, I think so, and I contacted Congress, the senators at the time, and I forget who it was, Menendez and whoever, Lumberg, I don't remember. Rob Andrews, who was congressman then. And I said, I believe these chemical companies, should be training, putting money towards firefighter, first responder, emergency personnel training in case something happens like this, because most of these trains come through low minority towns because that's where they're going to catch the heck about. And the difference between East Palestine and Paulsboro's train wreck was very simply politics. The world in 2012 was totally different than when you have in East Palestine, you have ex-presidents showing and senators showing up, because everything's politics, and it's not going to get into that, but it's magnified 1,000%. And why I say that is this simple reason. Paulsboro got $75,000 to cover our expenses, police overtime and such. I don't know, I heard the number of 75 million for this. And why? Because we didn't have a governor show up. We didn't have senators show up at my property until well after they introduced some bill. So the town of Paulsboro was left to struggle for itself. The health of its residents is undetermined at this time, because I felt that they should have put in a long-term testing for residents, and the wonderful thing that Bob and Perry are doing, or doing the PFAS. We are ground zero in the whole country for PFAS, by the way. So everything just magnifies in Paulsboro. We're like the funnel for bad things. So, I mean, you can keep throwing the slides around, whoever's handling the slides.
Why don't you show a couple more slides? Can you forward them, or is that?
Yeah, they're pretty much all the same. You can just roll them. I mean,
there's a great one of the city in the fog.
Yeah, by the way, I don't know if you'll see it, they painted out. The same night that this train wreck happened, and the levels were super high out on the water and air, those guys that do graffiti climbed on top of them cars and did their graffiti. It's like a gold medal for them how they do that. So you can just roll the slides.
All right, Gary, I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes.
All right, so anyway, the thing is how we need to hold the chemical companies and the plastics people accountable for helping the residents where these trains go through, both be proactive and reactive should something happen. So, you know, I've reached out once again to the railroad company about their maintaining their tracks, and the next time I hear from them will be the first time I hear from them. So I think there needs to be a big push for the safety of the first responders, medical personnel, the police department, but more importantly for the residents when something like this happens, so we know what's going on and how that's affecting our lives should an accident happen. So,
okay, thank
good.
you. Sit with us. We still want to have a conversation with you. Now we're going to move.
By the way, that's my house right there.
Beautiful house. Can you